There's a new Quinnipiac University poll that shows voters continue to support House Democrats' impeachment probe into President Trump. A majority, 51%, say they approve of the impeachment inquiry. 45% disapprove. Voters split on whether President Trump should be impeached and removed from office, with 46% agreeing with that idea. 48% disagree. That's held pretty steady. 51% say the impeachment inquiry is a legitimate investigation. 43% call it a witch hunt. Meanwhile, 538 found a majority of Americans support impeaching President Trump, according to its calculated average of more than 530 polls since August 1st, 2018. So again, Joe, the president can't call one poll or another an outlier. That's the average of 500 or so polls that show a majority of Americans support this inquiry.
Well, and you know, Ed, it wasn't so long ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, that the president said he was going to get worried if those numbers ever got over 50%. All of the fear and loathing, all of the weeping and the gnashing of teeth of Democrats on whether they should start an impeachment inquiry, I think it's gone away. And it's gone away because look at these poll numbers. They're overwhelmingly supportive of an inquiry.
And this is where the analogies with the Clinton impeachment break down.
Right.
Because these polls have been so dramatic and so pronounced and so constant in the last 3 weeks. I think really this morning, for the first time, I was thinking about this. There is a material chance that Trump is going to be removed. 1 in 3, 1 in 4, whatever it might be. Yeah. That this is moving so quickly that he's being caught out by himself more than anything else. So dramatically, and that his foreign policy, which is, you know, the fate of Ukraine, of course, is linked to all of this, but the Middle East as well, is disintegrating in such a terrible real-time fashion, causing such anguish amongst Republicans whose support he'll need in the Senate.
Think about the parallels here, David. You have this extraordinary Ukraine story unfolding, blowing up like a hand grenade, a political hand grenade. Everybody, you know, and it's going to be damaging everybody around the president of the United States. At the same time, there's a foreign policy disaster, the likes of which we probably haven't seen since Iraq. I mean, I'd have to go back to 2006. You know, when the sectarian violence really exploded. To think of a time when the United States was in the middle of something so damaging on the international stage as what we're going through right now.
So I think the TV images of our former allies being gunned down in Syria, the people that our special forces fought with, the people who took down our adversaries in ISIS being now abandoned, I think that's powerful and clear to people in a way that the Ukraine story still isn't quite. I mean, you know, every day we have more evidence, but you know, those polling numbers still pretty narrow. You know, it's pretty, a country's pretty evenly split. A 50-point-something% majority is a small majority. So you know, you feel that over time, Adam Schiff, others are going to have to explain the Ukraine story to people so that they say, here's what Fiona Hill said, here's what John Bolton said, here's why this matters to you. But in terms of Syria, people can see our policy is collapsing. Russia, Iran, and Syria are winning.
They can see it with, you know, with eyes of the reporters on the scene like Keir Simmons.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.